Welcome to Wizard News and Politics. Today we've got a special guest. As you can see, here's my cat, Holly. He is an expert in crypto and FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, which is what I'm here to talk about today. So, if you haven't heard, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX's founder, is arrested in the Bahamas today, and today being Monday. And this happened pretty recently, actually. Earlier today, whenever it happened, there was just like one sentence that just like this top sentence here was here, but now they've added a whole bunch of stuff underneath. Looks like he was arrested without incident. So what he did is that they think that he took money from his investors and invested it somewhere else without their knowledge. And he specifically took that from the investors who had checked off in their accounts that they didn't want to invest their money anywhere else. So they definitely said they didn't want this. And the way that he's kind of moused around is that he's said that, it's like, I didn't knowingly commit fraud. I didn't want any of this to happen. I was certainly not nearly as competent as I thought I was. So he's trying to say that he just sort of accidentally knocked over $1 billion into the wrong account. It was just sitting on his desk and he accidentally knocked it over into the wrong bin. And ended up in Alameda instead of FTX. Whoopsie. Oops. All crypto. So, he's issued a lot of denials, and maybe they'll be true. We'll find out. But if instead of using time and waiting to find out, okay, he's ready to go. Kat has gone to the field to research more things to report on. Why don't we ask Tarot what's going to happen with Sam Bankman-Fried? Because that's immediate information, and I want immediate satisfaction with my information. I want it right now. So you'll notice I'm getting out a very big deck. This is the Hexen Tarot, and this is a very politics and information, internet-specific deck. It's got kind of, I'd say, a 60s to 90s theme going on with its aesthetic, but it definitely encompasses more recent findings in science and politics as well. I mean, Henry Kissinger's still alive, so realpolitik is still alive and well. So a lot of this stuff is very applicable. So yeah, these are huge cards, and I'm shuffling right now. I'll show you the back. Very mushroom cloud, very tree. So let's see. What all are they gonna charge Sam Bankman-Fried with? The Hanged Man reversed. And I want to show you it right side up so you get to see the art. As you can see, it's very elaborate and there's a lot of stuff written. I don't have these cards memorized, so give me a moment to take a look at this myself. So, 1938, Stuart Brand. Two Cybernetic Frontiers. Convolution Quarterly, the Hackers Conference. It was U.S. and Stanford Biology, then U.S. Army. LSD experiment. He participated in the LSD experiments with Tim Leary, I guess. Designed World War IV public war games. All right. Also has to do with the whole Earth catalog. Really been all over the place, I guess. Kind of a wartime guy who turned to hippie. So, the Hanged Man. I could see how he's someone who's kind of caught between two worlds. Now, in the upright version of the Hanged Man, you are balanced between two different worlds, and they can coexist, and you can coexist between them. But whenever it is reversed, you have someone who is doing that badly. So I talked about tipping one fund into another. It's literally called commingling of funds is the thing that they're probably going to be wrapping him with when it comes to charging him with a crime. Because this right here is the commingling of funds between basically sun and moon. And it's done badly and definitely done purposefully. He's trying to say that this just happened to him. Like, I'm just like a happy-go-lucky hippie who just dropped a bunch of LSD, and then, you know, who knows what happened next. But actually, what the card is saying is that he did this on purpose. What's interesting is that his defense, I want to take a look at that in this article because I found a real eyebrow raiser here. One of the key questions about FTX's collapse stems from a Reuters report last month that says Bankman-Fried built a backdoor into FTX's accounting system, allowing him to alter the company's financial records without tripping accounting red flags. The report said Bankman-Fried used this backdoor to transfer $10 billion in FTX customer funds to Alameda, the hedge fund, and now at least $1 billion is missing. Bankman-Fried has denied knowledge of any such backdoor. I don't even know how to code, he told cryptocurrency vlogger Tiffany Fong in an interview last month. By the way, Sam Bankman-Fried has been getting interviewed by everybody. At this point, he'd probably take an interview by me, and I'm not even monetized yet. But he seems to be talking to everybody to be able to get his story across to the counter to any legal advice I'm sure he's getting. So, yeah, that's what he's said about his own accounting, his own programming abilities. I couldn't have done that backdoor thing because I don't know how to code. It's like, yeah, and you can't get a friend to do it for you. Cool, I believe you. I don't. Now, what actually turns out to be true, we'll see. But what tarot says to be true, that's always fun and interesting to find out. So, how rapidly is this going to progress? How fast are we going to find more substantial information on this case? You know, more developments. How fast are developments going to happen in this case? The Sun, an end to industrial civilization, Fifth Estate magazine. Destruction of technology, abolition of the producer-consumer-based society. Oh, this is whenever communism actually works. Anarcho-primitivism, post-left anarchism. I think that everything's already kind of out there, and it's just going to be more of that. I mean, basically, everything that gets out there after this point is going to be stuff that was already really obvious. All of this was obvious and out there to see if you knew to look. It's kind of like, you know, if any of this kind of stuff that they're talking about here, like, you know, the destruction of technology, abolition of the producer-consumer-based society, geographic, social, cultural, and imaginal autonomous zones. Now, this stuff's been talked about since like the 60s. So if that suddenly all came about, then it wouldn't seem like nobody was talking about it before. Let's see. Anything else that's interesting to look into here about the whole Sam Bankman-Fried thing? Like, what's his defense going to be? What's Sam Bankman's defense going to be when it comes to the government's case against him, according to tarot? The Eight of Pentacles, Soviet ternary computers, ternary logic, lower power consumption, low production costs, high speed and reliability. Nikola Vrishna, Sergei Solov, Moscow State University. So this is a very interesting design here. There's like a huge combination of esotericism and like this kind of information being imparted to you from Wikipedia almost. So Soviet ternary computers, that's an interesting subject I don't know anything about. So what impressions am I getting about this with the big triangle here? His defense, I think he's going to defend himself by saying that he doesn't know how to do this, that he didn't have the technical skill to be able to do this. The government was going to have to prove that he actually could do this and did do this. They're going to have to use evidence because he's going to say that actually he doesn't know any programming and he doesn't have these abilities. He's just 30 years old. And by the way, this guy is just 30 years old. So what kind of investors fell for FTX's schemes? Magician reversed. people who had a lot of money and weren't actually aware of how they should be investing it. Basically, a bunch of people who have too much money for their own good. And seemed to think that they were either wise in spending it or they took very bad financial advice. Another part of it is that you have a lot of people who are kind of hapless, and they've been taking advice from hedge fund managers and financial advisors who really had no business advising their clients to do what they did. So you're going to talk about mostly the wealthy here. Either people who have the money to dump into it or people who have the money to dump into a financial advisor. And what defense are these people going to use now that FTX is being exposed as such a haven for fraud? Reversed Knave of Pentacles. The Knave of Pentacles is techno-Gaianism. Belief in the power of technology to restore Earth's environment. We were trying to do something next level, and the promise of what could be done was just so great that we were really whipped up in that. And it was all meant to do something big. Like, basically, they're going to say that their intentions were good, and they just couldn't see, and in the midst of all the excitement of investing in something really important, that it just wasn't going to work out. We were all so whipped up in the excitement. And what's the actual reason that they fell for this investment stuff? Nine of Pentacles upright. Computing from 1957 to 1986. That's basically the Apple and Microsoft years after kind of the early government stuff. So they basically wanted to get in on the next big thing before it was the next big thing. They wanted to get on this thing early. They wanted to be the next Bill Gates. That's the answer. They wanted to be the next Bill Gates, the next Steve Jobs. They thought this was going to be their ticket to that. They're going to invest in Apple before it was popular. That's all it is. It's like, I was listening to that band before they were cool. I was investing